First time outside today from just brainstorming, working inside, having a podcast, but it feels good. I mean, we are back to kind of an office work, studio work with our team, and I'm very thankful for that. No matter what we thought, we now go outside to record this video because it's such a nice day, and we wanted to open up some thoughts about the future of video, especially online video, and what it means for connection and working together. If you don't know me yet, my name is Christoph. I run this YouTube channel, subscribe here. We share a lot of things regarding technology, how technology influences the way we work together and in the future. And we stumbled upon a trend study a couple of weeks ago that YouTube released because this is our, of course, go-to channel and place when we share content. I also host a podcast, but my passionate channel is YouTube. And during the pandemic, there was kind of a trend to like a lot of online events, of course, obviously. A lot of people were streaming events, or they were recorded live on tape, so recorded and then shared for a specific time and date. But what the study showed is that, and that was actually the number I stumbled upon, that close to 80%, I think it was 76 or 77% or something, of people in Germany itself watched a live stream. So people are much more familiar with the idea of streaming something and having this live experience. And YouTube is still the place, of course, not for videos. For streaming, there's Twitch and Mixer and other platforms like live streaming and gaming and sharing that stuff. YouTube does it as well, like Facebook. But YouTube is still the mothership of video. Streaming an event is not just you put up a camera and that's it. But if you stream, you kind of build a connection because you bring people closer to what you do. And if you do it in the right way, and this is what the study showed, that was the second point, if you do it in a more authentic way, people feel a much closer connection. And this is what we saw when we did it for like clients or our own streams. We had this Corona situation room where we just had the idea, let's test live streaming formats to like do something to bring people and the community together. It was the first impulse we had. And it brought so much feedback, like in the very old days when we started like this filmmaking sharing online itself. And this shows this very, very strong tie that we always want to keep as human beings. And I don't have an idea yet like where this will end up, but I'm pretty sure this idea of the metaverse, which we will also talk about, or which we talked about in the last video, and how this like fits together when it comes to like more authentic content and content that, let's say, mixes these two sides of the professional world, but also showing something of your personality, which we always thought was a normal thing to do, will be the content of the future. And the funny thing is that we see now more and more TV stations kind of becoming more YouTube-ish in the style.
If you're like me, a trying time like this really makes you appreciate the little things. You know, a homemade loaf of bread, a clean pair of sweatpants right out the dryer, ignoring those clean sweatpants and wearing the same ones you've worn for the last 10 days. The point is, little things can make a big difference in how you feel.
A British man has decided to beat the quarantine blues by giving himself one tattoo every day during the lockdown. Yeah, Chris Woodhead, a 33-year-old tattoo artist, has now added images of a butterfly, a tiger, and a clown, as well as the words, "When will it end?" on the sole of his foot.
Which I think is very interesting because they want to get closer, and it's much easier to have a podcast but at the same time a TV show. So this is like with this whole social media trend. So it's kind of getting more mature, but this doesn't mean it gets more and more boring. It just means that it will get richer in terms of an experience. And we know it from the streams. It's very, very, very hard to establish a good stream, to tell a good story. It's not just that you put up a camera and off you go. And this is why we have a whole team just doing streaming events and setting up cameras and like making the audio and having a playbook and knowing the story, and not just like stream and go. But that's just my take. I would be very interested in what you guys think, where online video is heading. I'm very dedicated to keep this going and like open up for new ideas, new thoughts. The one more take regarding hybrid, because the question was like, is hybrid video the next trend? Don't underestimate the effort you need to put in a good hybrid event. We did one for a client where just 3 people were participants virtually and the rest physically. Very expensive, but if you want to make it good, this is the effort you have to put in. Because hybrid means you have to be good in both worlds, as good as in the online world as is in the offline world. And I was a speaker last week in a hybrid event, and I know how it works, but the storyline was made for the people like internally and not for the people on the screen, and I had to switch between the 2 worlds all the time. Hybrid, it will stay, it's a reality, but if you want to make a good hybrid event, I would say roughly 3 to 4 times the amount in effort you need to put in. But feel free to discuss it, we do it all the time, not hybrid, but consequently in like one format, and then share the story for whatever you want to reach as a goal. Make sure, subscribe and watch